This week, on The Rock, we take a look at the upcoming semester sports. Next, we take a look at attendance and see how it will work next semester.
Just like you, I wanna see what we do this week on The Rock. 3, 2, 1, live.
Welcome back to The Rock AHS. I'm Elijah Huerta.
And I'm Mason Baki. We've got some great stories lined up for you this week.
I can't believe things will finally get back to normal soon. Even sports are starting back up again.
I'd love to see which ones are coming back and what the restrictions will be. Luckily, we have a segment all about it.
With the scheduled reopening of school, sports are beginning to finally open back up again. Instead of starting with winter sports, the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association decided to begin with fall sports including football, girls swim, girls soccer, cross country, and volleyball. The season is scheduled to begin February 1st for all sports except girls soccer and volleyball, which have been pushed back to the starting date of February 8th. These sports seasons have been shortened to end about 2 months later on March 21st. To get a little bit more information about the upcoming sports season, we talked to AHS's athletic director, Mr. Titus.
Masks are mandatory for everybody, coaches and athletes, even during competition. So kind of odd to think that cross-country runners are going to have to wear a mask. Kind of odd to think that football players have to wear a mask underneath their helmet. So that's a little bit odd. Social distancing, obviously try to do our best to stay 6 feet apart, but in athletics, sometimes that doesn't always lend itself to being the easiest thing. In the sports where we can, we're going to do our best to limit that 6 foot distance. But nothing new in regards to any of those safety protocols. Yeah, if we do a postseason event, it'll be kind of a conference postseason event, and how that'll look will be totally kind of sport dependent, and probably dependent at the time too of what's allowable. So for right now, like for instance, we couldn't gather all of the swim teams in one place in order to swim a finals meet. Same thing with cross country, and anything that's got a large gathering of people isn't allowed right now. I don't know if that'll be the same when spring season comes up with track and field and softball and football or softball and all the other sports that occur in the spring as well. So,
after such a long wait to their season, students and coaches alike are more than ready to jump back into their sports.
I'm excited just to compete with my players. Last year we had the last third of the season we were on a roll, and I'm excited just to continue where we left off. We have quite a bit of players returning, and so I'm just excited to see what they can do the rest of the season. So right now we were able to get back into the gym, and we're in pods of 6, and we have to stay in those same pods. And it is different because I have a drill ready in my mind that we used to do, and then I'll think, oh no, we can't do it because I can't mix groups. So just trying to think of as many drills as I can. There's 3-on-3, 2-on-2, with the small groups. The girls are getting used to playing with masks. They're definitely getting hot quicker, so they take breaks outside, take a little breath, come back into the gym. But I think they're getting used to it, so that is different. And then my voice doesn't project as much with the masks, so they can't hear me as well. But I think the girls are handling it great.
This season, I'm most excited to just get the team back together. I mean, it's been a really long time since everyone's seen each other, so it's just really exciting to actually have a season. And even though we'll definitely be distanced and spaced apart, it'll still be nice to see everyone in person. I think the thing that might be the most difficult about the season is there won't be as much competition, I guess, or as much competitive spirit as years past, since we're only having 4, I believe, dual meets, and they're not in person with the other team, they're virtual. So what that means is we will be swimming our events and competing in our pool and they will be swimming their events in their pool. And then we will compare times and do the math and tally points and everything and then decide a winner that way. But it'll definitely be difficult because a big part of what makes you swim faster is having that competition next to you and pushing yourself to try to beat the person next to you.
WIAA Executive Director Mick Hoffman stated in a press release that while high-contact sports like wrestling, cheer, and basketball are still up in the air, Inslee's new Healthy Washington plan helps get fall sports going again. Unfortunately, spectators are not allowed to watch games and matches, but be sure to cheer on our student athletes virtually when their season finally comes. For the Rocket AHS, I'm Amy Anacortes.
I'm glad to see sports coming back, especially because this means Broadcast Club will be back to share sports games with the students when school starts back up in person again.
Speaking of switching from full online to partial online school, the next segment takes a look at this semester's attendance of students over Zoom and what happens if students miss too many days. Let's take a look.
Due to the plague that sweeps across the world, we students at Anacortes High School have been forced on an exodus from the halls of our beloved academia and to learn painfully at home. However, some of our fellow students have taken a second exodus, away from Zoom and into the throngs of the ins and outs of their personal lives. To find out how our administration deals with the startling lack of attendance, veteran rock member Mason Bakke interviews our very own athletics director, Eric Titus.
One of the things that happens with attendance is that if you are marked absent right now during your time, there is an automated robocall that comes out to family that says that they weren't engaged that day as well. And we know that there are some folks too that also click in and maybe there for attendance per se, but aren't engaged, and there are quite a few teachers who are not considering that being in attendance as well. And there are people who are struggling mightily with this. And I think kind of in my position as an assistant principal and also a person who oversees activities in athletics, I think that has impacted people's motivation to be able, you're not knowing that you can go to a practice or go to a club meeting and interact with your friends as so many of you guys do during your time. I don't know if it's a trick or not, but I know that I have to kind of live on my calendar. So almost everything I have, including breaks, I actually put breaks into my calendar so that it reminds me to take a break so that I'm not in a Zoom meeting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Because that's important to do as well. You got to have some time away from this computer screen and interacting in this fashion. So as we return back into in-person learning and kind of get that graduated back in with cohort A and cohort B's and taking attendance. So you might imagine that primary focus will be on the in-person attendance. However, the state has said that you need to take attendance on every kid every day. So if you're in cohort A, Mason, which you are by your last name, so you get to come to school on the A day, and me being Titus, T second part, I'm in cohort B, so the day that you are synchronous and you are in person, I am not, but I still have attendance taken on me, making sure that I am doing the work, whether it's in Schoology or some other form that I am attending.
Well, that was all very helpful to know. All of us, even those who are excelling academically, can honestly say that this year has been very difficult. For the rest of your semester, do your best to attend. And gratefully, once we go back to school, it will be a lot harder to skip our classes. This is Gabe Burnett with The Rock, signing off. Have a great day, AHS.
Hopefully we can get more students engaging with school once we're back in person. It can be hard to focus on lessons for that long when you're just looking at a computer screen.
I know. This semester online has been tough on a lot of students. And with that, I think that wraps up our show for today. Be sure to take a look at AHS's final testing schedule for next week.
That's right, finals is right around the corner.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to email us at therock@asd103.org. We love your feedback. And with that, I'm Mason Baki.
And I'm Elijah Huerta.
And from our rock to yours, have a great day, HS.